The good, the bad, and the odd. It's a thing.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your host, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Hi. So this is a special one. Off our usual beaten track. We picked it because Terence Stamp passed,
Hmm.
and we wanted to sort of pay a bit of a tribute. And the one we know best, film we know him best from, is Superman 2, General Zod.
Yeah.
General Zod. So we thought we'd cover Superman 2, and you specifically said let's do the Richard Donner cut because
Yeah.
you
That's
know.
apparently supposed to be like truer to the
Truer
original
to the
intent.
original vision. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So, and I haven't seen the cinema version in decades. I have to say, it's been a long time since I've watched that. Um, you know what? I'm going to have a quick look at my letterbox to see if I can find one I like. How about you? Have you watched it recently or a long time
No,
ago?
no,
Or...
it's been a long time.
Yeah. So it's made it quite difficult to remember, spot which elements were new and which wasn't.
Well,
Apart,
you
well,
say that, but
actually.
at the end, there's some quite distinct differences that I was
There,
able to remember.
yes, yeah, the ending is way different, and there's some elements that I could spot for sure, but definitely
Yeah.
not seen those before, or seen a variant of them that wasn't the same as what we were seeing. So it was kind of interesting. I did spot some, but
Hmm.
there was some chatter about, oh yeah, they've removed a lot of the goofier elements and things like that, and I don't know, man, there was still quite a lot of goofy elements as
Yeah.
there is in the first one. So wow. I haven't even rated this on Letterboxd, and I haven't. I've been using my Letterboxd for over a decade, so it's been a long. It's been a
Yeah.
long time
Quite a
since I
while.
last did this. So yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Right. Let's go. General. I mean, we're not worried about spoilers here, right? I guess.
No.
Even though it's a kind of a
Well,
newish car, you kind of know what you're getting.
Even if we take it as a newish cut, it's still nearly 20 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, general feelings on this one.
Yeah, it's good. It's really fun.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I definitely think it's. Some people put this above the first film. I definitely don't do that. What about you? Where do you rate it?
Yeah, I rank it better. Like,
You like it
because
better than the first one?
to be frank, very little happens in the first one.
I just like the
When you, it's
vibe
like
of the
when you,
first one.
yeah,
I know what
it's
you
an
mean,
excellent
though.
vibes, but nothing really happens until Lex Luthor talks to Superman. Like it's just kind
Yeah,
of between like the end of the flashback stuff and then Lex Luthor talking to Superman. There's a big brick that could very easily have been cut down a lot. But yeah, this film actually starts with a summary that I kind of feel would let you, for the most part, skip the first one.
yeah. It replays major parts of the first one, right? Basically,
Yeah,
for a good
including
six
the
or
weird
seven
rapey
minutes.
rapey bit from Miss Teschmacher,
Yeah.
where she's like, "Oh, if I hadn't, if I'd have, I wouldn't have been able to kiss you if I'd have removed the
Yeah,
kryptonite
yeah.
first."
You were forced to
Ugh.
kiss me. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, I have actually watched the extended version of Superman the movie not long ago. I'm trying to remember how
Yeah,
long
we
ago.
watched it.
Oh, we watched it. Okay,
We
yeah,
watched it.
yeah. Okay, we covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I prefer the original cut actually. There was a few elements that were interesting, but yeah. Okay, so Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. Right, for context, Richard Donner actually made Superman and Superman 2 back to back.
Hmm.
And I've done pretty much 80% of Superman 2 as part of
Yeah.
filming Superman 1, but for some reason I don't know if he was fired or couldn't I don't know. I don't know. Um,
Yeah. So I think there was some big argument about the the direction of it, really.
yeah.
And so I think Marlon Brando being like Marlon Brando about it was also played into it, but yeah, they ended up replacing it with Richard Lester.
Richard Lester, who also reshot quite a bit, and they changed some of the plot, particularly the end, actually, but all sorts of other things. And Marlon Brando was significantly cut from Superman 2 and
Mm.
replaced by Susanna York, who is his mother,
Uh,
Superman's
yeah,
mother. Pretty much doing the same kind of scenes, though, but just her instead of Marlon Brando, which is a bit odd,
yeah.
right? But yeah.
Mm.
Uh, but enough so that he got the direct. He did enough reshooting and reworking, so he got the director credit rather than Richard Donner. It's kind of what it got to. And Richard Lester went on to make Superman 3 as well, which I really like. I
Yeah,
really like Superman 3. Not just it is goofier, but I really like the good Superman versus the bad Superman stuff. I think that's really interesting and feels like out of the comics somewhat and things like that, right? Um, but yeah, there's significantly more. The things I noticed most about this is significantly more Marlon Brando and Christopher Reeve scenes.
yeah,
And the ending was different, though I'm
yes,
not sure it matters much, to be honest, in terms of the through line. Kind of, they get to the same place almost, but
yeah,
presumably none of the Zod stuff has happened. Yeah, anyway, we'll
yeah.
get to that. We'll
Like,
get to.
yeah, but
So the
yeah.
so yeah, so the story is, I mean, which one? All right, of the two, which version did you prefer?
Of the version in the endings, I prefer the original
Yeah,
cut where everything still has happened.
yeah,
Uh, we'll get into why it's different, but
yeah,
yeah, there's some parts where like I do like a lot of all the Marlon Brando acting in this.
yeah.
Like
It's really
he's
good.
like it feels more like the because of course it's an AI pretending to be Jor-El,
Yeah,
but it does come across of like you can kind of hear the frustration in his voice that you can't help more,
yeah, and he kind of
and
knows what's going to
it's really
happen.
well acted. Yeah, it's
And it's
like
almost like he has to make his own mistakes,
yeah,
which is very parently. Yeah, and it doesn't. It isn't presented like it's an AI. It's presented like it's recordings,
no,
and he's just guessed what's at
yeah,
every contingency that might have happened, which is
yeah,
ridiculous, given the
yeah,
short time he had between.
yeah,
But so let's assume it's an AI, but it's a really
yeah,
good one that's picked up his
yeah.
spirit, his actual,
So
his
yeah,
essence.
doing
Um, yeah, so there's quite a lead up as in this cut where they're showing quite a lot of the original elements of the first film
mm,
and stuff like that. And they then we get the beginning credits, the John Williams
yeah.
music. Now it's weird. Some elements of this in the John. I don't know if it was the original score. I don't know, but there was actually some scenes where I thought that piece of music sounds more like
Sounds like
Star
Star Wars.
Wars rather
Yes.
than
I was just sitting there, it's like,
Superman.
I know this, I reckon I could be able to find this bit of music in
Yeah,
Star Wars.
yeah. Do you think they did that with John Williams'
Maybe, but like
consent?
it's entirely possible also that it's just John Williams music. So it
Yeah,
all like not to say
sounds.
it sounds the same, but it's like he has a sound that
Yeah,
he
and
can do very well, and he leans into it a lot, and
in
it
my
sounds great, but
in
it
my
sounds similar, can sound similar.
yeah, in my opinion, of his all his soundtracks, Superman and Star Wars sound the most similar. Anyway,
Mm.
and there's
Yeah,
also some pieces of music or when he does adventure kind of back music, and I don't mean the Indiana Jones theme. I mean the driving through the asteroid field kind of.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? That kind of music. When he has to do
yeah,
that for and then Indiana Jones also sounds like Star Wars and
yeah.
Superman in those bits. But yeah, there was definitely some scenes where it felt, well, that sounds a lot like Star Wars kind of music, but not the main themes, obviously.
Mm.
We do
Yeah,
see the trial of the three criminals, Zod, Ursa, and is it Non? They never
yeah,
really say
none.
his name, do they? Non. But they say what they've done, and now I want to know what these perversions that Ursa did because they don't. They just describe all this
Yeah.
really grim stuff, but they never
Describe
say
it.
what
They
she did.
talk about it as like perversions of nature.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like what? And threatening the children of Krypton. It's like,
yeah,
what the hell did she do? And
yeah,
Zod's there, and none. Now, Terence, let's just talk about Terence Stamp for a minute. I mean, this is probably his finest, most remembered performance in anything,
yeah.
and he
It's like,
plays it brilliantly because
yeah,
Zod is mental,
yeah,
but in a I mean, it's almost like he's a clear narcissist with attention deficit disorder, right? He
yeah,
he thinks everything revolves around him, and the minute something things settle down, he's bored. and feels like, oh,
Yeah,
I haven't got a challenge. What am I gonna do? And
yeah,
it's just, I just like the way he's just almost detached from what's going on
yeah,
because it's all about, well, what's it got to do with me? I don't care
yeah.
about these people. Who's it? Who's it care? Um, Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, I
Terence Stamp
like it.
so good.
Yeah, it's really well performed, and you can kind of tell he's like, while he is like an evil general, like he does come from a science. He's the only one that puts across that they come from like a scientifically enlightened culture.
Yeah,
Because he's the entire time he's like, guess I can do that. And every single time he like figures out a trick,
yeah,
that one of his powers, he always tests it like a few ways.
yeah,
He's like when he lasers the gun and then cools it with his breath. It's like, just like
yeah.
the back and forth.
And
So
they're an interesting trilogy, aren't they? Because
yeah,
Ursa is also a good villain. She's good. She's
yes,
just evil, evil, right? That's what she
mm,
is. Pantomime evil, right? Whereas
yeah,
Non is basically a functional idiot, right? It feels
yes.
like
He is
he doesn't
just
speak.
the muscle.
Yeah, yeah. But they're sentenced to the Phantom Zone where they get put into a mirror and fired into space, which we saw when
Yeah.
we saw the Phantom Zone when we watched Supergirl, didn't we? We kind of It's basically a
Yes.
pretty
That
empty
that
place, right?
functionally is the Phantom Zone, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so they're fired into space, but we do see that they're fired into space and there's I don't know. I could have misread this, but the beginning, the new pre-credit sequence where they're recapping the original film, it
Yeah,
almost
it
like there's a
shows
bit where the Phantom Zone mirror thing is near uh, uh Carlisle's or Superboy, whatever,
yeah.
his ship a bit, and then they go off a different
Yeah,
direction.
because they do see the destruction of Krypton while they're flying
Yeah,
away.
yeah. So, which suggests they fired them towards Earth as well,
I
right?
think it probably came across more like they just sort of threw them in a direction, but
Yeah,
the Superman pod was deliberately sent to Earth.
yeah. And I mean, it would have been better plot wise if there was some indication that the Superboy, the baby's pod, created a some sort of gravitational attraction to the Phantom
Yeah,
Zone
like pulled it in the same
turned it
direction.
the same direction, right? But anyway, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's kind of
It's
evidence.
moot because Superman still causes their escape by redirecting the missiles from the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did a little reading on this in terms of the differences. Not much, a little, but
Mm,
people were basically saying, yeah, there's some test footage. And they actually say at the pre-credit sequence, some test footage was used here for scenes we
mm,
couldn't film. So basically, when they were testing the actors, screen testing the actors, they used some of these scenes.
mm,
And then they used them in the film. I've got to be honest, I didn't really spot that. I couldn't work out where that was.
mm. Yeah.
Perhaps the bit, I don't know. The thing is, the bits I think it is, I remember from the original film. So maybe that
Yeah.
was a polish for it. I don't really know. I don't really know. So yeah, it was all right. The effects of Superman 2 don't stand up very well, do they?
No. The
No.
one bit where I was like, that's some pretty good effects were they were both Zod sequences where they're on the moon and they're
Yeah.
just kind of there walking normally while the astronauts are like hopping about.
Yeah, that was all
Uh,
right. Yeah, yeah.
and then the bit where he lands in a river, it just sort of goes, this is a very strange planet. Floats, so he's walking on top of the water and then walks to shore.
Yeah, that was
That
good.
was pretty fun. That was funny and like very good effect.
And the weird
So,
thing is, there was a couple of times they had some really nice touches they didn't have to do. For example, there's a bit where Zod eye lasers Superman, but Superman holds up a mirror, so it gets blasted back to him, and
hmm.
Zod gets the shock of it. But if you watched it, the actual he was standing against a billboard, right? He's standing in
Yes,
front
like a
of a.
holiday
You
billboard.
could see his figure behind the thing behind him is not touched at all, where everything
Yeah,
else is all scorched. They didn't have to do that, and they did.
yeah.
That's pretty good. But somebody, I
I
mean, the
think that bit
flying
was a
looked.
joke because there was like a woman in a bikini behind
That's
there.
right. Yeah, it was.
So,
But some of the flying effects were just terrible. It just looked
yeah.
like BBC. comedy kind of effects. I've seen
Yeah,
similar effects in Red Dwarf, for example,
yeah.
from this era. So it's like,
Especially when they're
oh,
like throwing punches in the sky. Because
yeah,
it's a lot of like one of them will just be like from the waist off screen,
yeah,
so presumably the other one could like swing into them.
yeah.
But it looks awful every single time.
And there was a few model
And they,
shots that weren't
yeah,
great
they
either.
suck with continuity when they were editing that. Like people grab each other, and then the next shot they're just not. Like it'll just cut to a different
Yeah,
angle.
yeah,
Like Ursa will grab him, cut to a different angle. He's like just on his own and gets punched by Non, and it's like, okay, it falls a bit apart a bit here. So
So early on, Lois is looking at going on about Clark's never on Superman, and then just putting two together, and she starts drawing on against a picture of Superman, Clark's glasses and hat, and
yeah,
then basically she thinks, oh, he's super. She says, I'm
yeah,
willing to bet my life. It throws herself out of window, but he doesn't reveal himself. He
no,
manages to
he
run down the stairs fast, blow so she's slowed down, pull open a shop, covering awning.
like a cushioned sort of
Yeah,
cover.
so she bounces into it and then lands in a fruit stall, and he runs back in.
Yeah,
So she thinks, "Oh, what's wrong?" and all this. But then
yeah,
they're on some sort of journalist thing where they're pretending to be honeymooners in
yeah.
Niagara
That
Falls.
it's like Perry White says it's like something about the hotel's price gouging newlywed couples. I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, sure, you'd send your two biggest reporters to
reporters.
do this.
Yeah, this reminds me of another thing. Have I got this wrong? This version of Superman is set in Metropolis, right?
I think so, but it's just New York.
Yeah, it's New York
Like it's
because
got the
there's a
Statue of
Statue of
Liberty gets
Liberty. There's
punched in. One of them gets punched into the Chrysler building.
yeah. Oh no, I think it was the Empire State actually.
Yeah,
But it's yeah, it's New York. It's clearly New York.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I'm sure there's even a line somewhere Lois Lane talks about being a New York girl, but I could be wrong.
Mm.
That might be in the first one, or it might not exist at all. I'm just dreaming about it.
Yeah, well,
You know what? I might be confusing it with Flash Gordon and
yeah.
Dale Arden. Actually, so
Yes,
yeah, I think I have.
that
Yeah.
is what she does say that in that film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we do see in the pre-credit sequence Superman divert a rocket out into space. When he's trying to stop the nukes that Lex Luthor sets off, and that hits or explodes right next to the flat Phantom Zone mirror trap thing and
mm,
releases all three of them. Which
yeah,
I don't know. I've read one of the things I read. It says, "Oh yeah, this is a new." In this one, they escape because of the bomb, but I'm sure in the original that's how they escape too. I think that's just
yeah,
it's the same thing. Anyway, they escape and start flying about and realize Zod immediately, the yellow sun gives us powers and all this
yeah.
while
Like
they're
it
flying
must
through
increase
space.
our molecular pressure or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Our density gives us unlimited powers or something like that. That's what it is, isn't it?
yes,
Superman's
look,
super dense, so that's why he can fly. He's got his own gravity field, basically, right? His
yeah.
gravity is.
That look, we can talk about the science of Superman. It doesn't make sense at all.
I
Like,
did sometimes. I was watching this, thinking sometimes of the stuff they come up with in The Big Bang Theory about Superman and
yeah.
Lois, and
But
how
it's like if he
he
was catching
constantly
her,
killing
he'd
her.
slice her in
Yeah,
half.
all of that, all of that. So it's like okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There is a bit
Anyway,
in this that does make me question whether Superman has any tactile sense at all. But
yeah.
yeah, there's a
Okay.
bit where yeah. So they're doing their like investigation into these hotels, and a kid. It's in Niagara Falls. A kid falls off. Superman saves it. Standard fare.
Yeah.
Because Lois was able to spot that Clark disappeared at the time, she's now back on Clark as Superman
Yeah.
and pulls a gun on him.
Yeah. Which is goofy.
This is insane, and also not in the original cut, and I did not remember
Yeah, so
this.
this is
And I
the
was like,
bit I thought might be a
whoa.
screen test because it wasn't quite hanging together. It felt like they just shot
Yeah.
that scene again. Because it went on a bit too, right? It went on quite a
Mm.
long time. But yeah, she pulls a gun on him,
She
right?
pulls a gun and fires it at him, and he basically has to go like, "Yeah, I'm Superman." And then he's like, "But you'd have killed Clark Kent if you'd have been wrong." And she goes, "Oh well, these are just blanks." It's like, can he not tell if he's
Well,
got hit by a bullet?
yeah, that's just plot, isn't it? That's just bad
Yeah,
poor writing, probably, right?
yeah,
It's one of them. Um, I'd say Marco Kidder still great in this. In
yeah,
fact, I think she's even better in this one than she's in the first one. She gets
yeah.
more to do, and she does it well. And I like. I mean, she still doesn't have that much to do, but she's pretty
No,
good. She's pretty good.
never has anything to do with these films.
No.
That's like tragically Lois at this, as far as I'm aware, at this point in the comics, it was basically just I'm gonna find Superman's identity instead of actually doing anything else.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah. So yeah, he basically admits he's Superman.
mm.
So they then don't they then go off to the Fortress of Solitude together?
Yeah, she asks where he lives, and he's like, "Oh, I live like a couple blocks down from you, but I also live in the North Pole."
North Pole. So he flies to there basically, and then he
Yeah,
sets up a like a meal, a romantic meal, and he
yeah,
gets his pimp. You can tell he's got his pimp mode on because he's got mascara on. Did you notice he has mascara
I
on?
did not.
He's got mascara, and he's got his pimp mode on because he basically eye
Okay,
lasers the cork out of the
yeah,
champagne.
yeah, he's just
It's
trying to
just
be smooth.
trying to be
So,
smooth. And then the next scene we see him in bed sleeping. So
yeah.
um, and then we start
Uh,
getting the scenes with.
Cutaways from this, yeah, Zod invading the White House
Oh
and taking
yes.
over a town.
Well, first he
Like,
goes to a town, doesn't he? And he meets a
yeah,
general. He goes, "You're a general, so who's your superior?" He goes, "The president." He goes, "Well, he will answer to me." He loves
mm,
grandstanding to Zod.
yeah,
It's like, who's watching this? Because pretty much everyone is like, "I will be your new ruler. I
yeah.
will look after
You
you."
shall bow in
Basically, if
subservience.
you don't do exactly what he says, he kills you. Right? That's
Mm,
the general vibe of it. But they're also discovering their powers and are like fighting with the military and catching rockets in the middle of the air
yeah.
and all this goofy stuff. And it's kind of fun. Yeah,
There
some of the
was,
effects will
I
work
will,
and some don't.
yeah, I quite like the flamethrower bit where when someone runs up at an on Zod with a flamethrower and he just blows
blows it
the
back.
flame back into a building near to them.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And there's a helicopter. Is it machine gunning them? I can't remember. There's an helicopter, and she
yeah.
says they need machines to fly. She said, and I was thinking, you've literally just covered a planet
Yeah.
where people don't fly, just
I
so
mean,
you can
they're also
suddenly
massive
fly.
narcissists, so they'd be like, "Hi,
Yeah.
you can't do a
Do
thing."
they? Their psychology is presented very well. Again,
Yeah.
I just have to mention, it always blows my mind this when I see the credit of Mario Puzo as the writer for
Mm.
Superman and Superman 2. Mario Puzo, famous as the author of The Godfather,
Okay.
and not a screenwriter. He's a writer,
No.
right? And you can kind of
Yeah.
tell because the screenwriting's a bit shonky and a bit too wordy. It's a bit tell instead of show in
Yeah.
places, isn't it? You can kind of tell.
It's not even that they show it and then they tell it.
Yeah.
So,
There's a bit of that. So he's not quite in the screenwriting frame of mind, is he, as a
mm,
writer? But it still kind of works. Anyway, he meets some general, and
mm,
there's all sorts of things. If you actually listen, these guys are
mm,
using phrases that are basically slang on Earth, and it's like they've never
mm.
been to Earth, but they could use the slang. And he
Yeah.
immediately seems to know who the general is because he's got 4 stars on his shoulder, or it may be the black
Yeah.
pre-cut. If you want to be generous, you could say, well, just before the scene starts, he might have said, "I'm a general in charge of this army," and then suddenly it cuts to Zod saying, "Ah,
Yeah.
so you're a general, are you?"
Yeah.
And all this, and they go
Yeah.
together
I
afterwards.
mean, given that they've got like Kryptonian powers, it can be assumed that someone referred to this guy as General and they just heard him.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's a good point. Um, and they're basically working away. They're working out who's the real power in on. They think it's the planet Houston, don't they? Because
Yeah.
despite the astronauts on the moon, who they
Yeah. They
decimate
have,
as well.
yeah, they just
Um,
kind of, they pull one's like uniform open and he just kind of inflates and pops slightly off screen. And
Yeah,
the other guy, they crack like a whip into outer space, and
yeah,
then pull his
yeah.
oxygen cord.
Yeah, yeah, and he's and also we do have a really cool insight which don't see any use again, which is when Zod meets the Russian national. The Russian national's talking Russian, and Zod just talks Russian back at him. So
Mm,
they instantly seem to know all the languages as well,
yeah,
like Doctor Who. I don't know.
yeah,
Or I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of interesting. Never used again. We also
yeah.
get some goofy stuff with Luther in the prison, right? Um,
Yes, his weird little escape.
His weird escape with what Ned Beatty's character, whose name, oh, what's his name?
Otis, yeah,
Otis. Um, who's loudmouth, and Luther's talking about, I made this box that detects alpha waves. Basically, these alpha waves detect Superman, and he knows Superman always goes north, right? So he
yeah,
figures that out, right? So,
yeah,
okay, so basically Luther engineers an escape where we get some goofy shenanigans with a ladder and an air balloon and Miss Tessmacher. Is it Tessmacher? I can never.
Tessmacher, I think.
Yeah, yeah. She's got a hot air balloon and dropped a set of steps. Lex is up there, runs up.
Yeah,
Otis tries to go up, but he's bringing the balloon down, so they just let
yeah,
him
they
go
just
down.
cut him loose and leave.
Yeah, he's like, we never see him again. I'm sure we see him again in the original cut. I'm pretty sure we
Mm,
do, but I could be wrong. Um, and he says to Miss Tessmacher, no, and it's so weird that she's his mistress, right? But he still calls her Miss Tessmacher all the time. It's a bit
yeah.
kinky,
Also,
really.
he tried to kill her at the end of the last film.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
but
she is the
she's fine
reason
with
that
that.
his plan got undone, and he knows it. And they're just roll this like, okay, yeah,
All right. So yeah, so it's he just says head north, you
yeah,
can go wherever you want in an air balloon. Anyway,
mm.
they immediately go north. I'm prepared to know.
There was
While
a
Lewis is
very funny joke here when they got to the fortress. And Miss Tesla was like, "You wonder if there's a bathroom?" And Luce just goes, "I told you to go before we left." And she just goes, "That was 2.5 days ago."
yeah, that's a good joke. Yeah. Meanwhile, I mean that's all happening, but Lois and Superman have got it on, and then Clark
Yeah,
or Superman decides he doesn't want to be Superman anymore.
yeah.
He wants a
He just
normal
wants to be a
life.
human.
And we get a really great scene, a really exceptionally good scene between him and Marlon Brando's floating head,
Yeah,
basically. I mean, oh man, they should have put this in the original, which
yeah,
they did mostly do, but they totally recut it so that he was talking to his mum instead, and it
yeah,
just didn't have the same dramatic weight as Marlon Brando as Jor-El.
mm,
So this was the best bit, wasn't it? Really, the best
yeah,
change, and probably the best bit, I think, where he was kind of saying, "There's no going back." You
yeah.
and it's
It's like
kind of you
you
can
are the
kind of tell
protector. You're the
this is a
only one that can
massive
help them.
mistake. This is a
Don't
massive
do this,
mistake. Don't
please.
do this. But he
Yeah,
still allows him the choice to do it.
yeah.
Which he does, and then he becomes normal. Now, immediately, what's the
Like
next?
they go to a bar and some
Go
guy
to
immediately
a
starts hitting on
cafe,
Lois.
yeah, and beats the tar out of Clark Kent, who gets a proper mashing. And then the telly goes on.
Yeah, this is probably the first time he's ever actually like felt physical pain.
Yeah,
Like
you
aside from the
gotta
kryptonite,
imagine that someone who just is so powerful is probably rubbish at fighting because they don't have to learn how
yeah,
to fight, right? They just are there,
yeah,
right? So there is that, and so he gets a proper beating. Properly, I'm sure it wasn't that bloody in the one I saw, but I could be wrong.
oh
It
no, I
felt
remember it
it's the
being really
70s.
quite bloody because
Oh,
he
okay,
basically gets glassed.
yeah,
Like
kinda,
they start to like smashing glasses in his head, and he's
yeah,
just like, "There's blood." Like
yeah.
he's like completely confused at the sight of his own blood.
He is. And then Lois is kind of trying to help him up. And they chuck Rock. Is his name Rocky, the chopper?
Yeah,
I can't remember. But the telly's on, and then we see Zod and what's going on. And Superman's like, I've made a
mm,
massive mistake. I've got to go back. And she goes, I thought you couldn't go back. He goes, I've got to try.
yeah,
Um, And now in the original, I think it pretty much he disappears and then he's back as Superman. I
Hmm.
don't think you see him go back and go through the sort of rubble of stuff to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists, but I could be wrong. But in this, it does. And again, great scene. He's talking to Marlon
Yeah.
Brando again and gets his powers back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
And they do make it clear that's like, okay, because I have to do, in order to do this, we, like, the connection's over. Like, I can't, I will be sacrificing myself for your powers. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, that it does come across as like, yeah, this is a massive sacrifice for both Jor-El and Superman
yeah,
in order to get the powers back. I
yeah.
did quite like that. It's like we're going to take this very serious, as serious as it should be. So,
Yeah, and basically he says, I've already gave my life making sure you could escape. This he's basically in this is the equivalent. He
yeah.
goes, this is the last of the powers we have in this structure to be able to restore this to you. Which
Mm.
makes you wonder how does the ending work then? If every all the powers anyway, it don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so yeah, again, a great scene. This was by far the best inclusions. Um,
Yeah.
I think the best version of this film might actually be those scenes put back in, but everything else just left as it is. Actually, uh,
Mm.
maybe. Anyway, he then gets his powers restored. Meanwhile, Zod's and the other two are turned up at the White House, and like the staff are comedy fighting them, basically, trying to shoot them, and
Mm.
nothing's working. There's a bloke with a bazooka in the White House, which made me laugh. Of all the
Yeah.
weapons to try and use inside a building, a bazooka. But they're getting creamed. And again, I don't remember this scene going on this long. I thought it was fairly
Mm.
brief. So it might have
Yeah,
been a
I
longer
did like
version.
the bit where someone smashed like their arm through a window next to Zod, and he just kind of took the gun off them, like looked at it for a little bit, and then started holding it right, and then just shot a bunch of people, while like a bunch of
Laughing.
soldiers basically formed a semicircle and shot at him.
Yeah, yeah, he was laughing too, wasn't he? He's proper
Mm.
egomaniac. Anyway, he gets into the office and says, "Who is the president?" This bloke. He goes, "Stand before
Mm.
Zod." Great line, great lines,
Yeah,
very brief, but great lines. Stand before Zod, and then he goes, "Now kneel before Zod," and he kneels and he
yeah,
goes, "You're not the president."
yeah,
No one with that much power would kneel that quickly. So he figures it out. And then we get,
yeah.
and this look, I don't know if it was, but this looks like the actor E. Marshall, who, for example, is the old grumpy granddad in Christmas Vacation. Is that actor,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Wearing a really bad wig.
yeah.
um,
It is. It's E.G. Marshall.
it is.
So
Okay. The gives this fair, very presidential, I will kneel if it saves lives, and Zod
yeah,
says it will, including yours.
yeah.
And he's like, kneel before
I love
Zod.
that the president is emphasizing this is saving everyone else's lives, and
Yeah,
Zod's like, "Yes, this will save your life."
yeah,
It's
he
like
doesn't
it's
care. He's not bothered.
clear distinction about like how he thinks people think.
Yeah.
So
And he kneels and he goes, "Oh God!" And Zod's like, "No,
yeah, no,
Zod."
yeah,
Egomaniac.
yeah,
And that is funny.
yeah,
And then we get then we get back at the sort of the newspaper, and it's like nothing's
mm,
happening really. They're just kind of doing stuff. And it comes on. Then the president comes on the telly, and it's like he's
mm,
saying, I have submitted the world to generals, like the American president could do that. And then he suddenly blurts, "Superman, please come and help us," and all this.
yeah,
And then old Zod gets the camera and starts talking into going, "Come to me, or unless you're a coward," and all this kind of stuff. Then Lex
mm,
interjects. Oh yeah, we should have mentioned Lex gets to the Fortress of Solitude, doesn't he? And he immediately finds some recordings of Jor-El talking about Zod,
yeah.
which is handy. Uh, he
And he
knows
finds the discussions about the only three criminals on Krypton that couldn't be
it's
rehabilitated.
hated. So he knows all about that. Anyway, he
Mm,
turns up at the White House. Zod's already bored. Oh, was nothing going to challenge me? All that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Ursa's doesn't care because she's just evil, right? And none can't really think, can he? So so he turns up and he starts saying, I can get you, Superman." First they go, "Now kill him," and he's like, "No, no, no, I
Mm.
can get you, Superman." And he goes, "Well, what do you want for this?" And he goes, "Australia."
Yeah.
Uh, um, but every time they basically think they get an advantage, Zod immediately goes, "Kill Lex Luthor," and Lex like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no," and he's always got some other trick, but he realizes he's gonna die at some point, right? I
Yeah.
think he realizes that. No, he doesn't actually. He keeps going. He keeps trying to
Yeah, he keeps
get into
making
their
plans
fray.
with them and like trying to get in their favor.
Yeah. So he says he can find so, and they basically turn up at the offices of the new. What is the newspaper? Daily Planet, right?
Daily Planet, yeah.
They turn up there. He throws Perry White into the ceiling. Very, very soft ceiling,
Mm.
which also knocks Perry out, which is weird. Um, but Lois ain't taking none of this. She tries to chin Ursa, gets blood on
Mm.
her fingers, on her knuckles for the effort. Uh,
Mm.
and uh, and Zod's like, "You said you were going to give me Superman. Where is he? Is this
Mm.
Superman?" He says about
Mm. He
Jimmy
grabs
Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. Is like, "Is this the son of Jor-El?"
Uh,
It's like, and he goes, "I know, but you're a son of a." And it's Jimmy.
yeah, he's yeah, there's a bit of that, and he hasn't got Superman, so he goes, "Right, kill everyone in the room, include him first." Talking about Lex, and Lex goes, "No, no, 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 hold on." He
Yeah,
cares about this one here, so
yeah,
if you hold on to her, he will come. And
yeah.
it's like, and then
And
Superman
then the
ultimately,
second that they turn around, it's like Superman's just out the window. So,
yeah.
like, it's very funny.
And Zod's like, "Oh, you're not a coward, but you're still a fool," and all this.
Yeah. And then
And
they both, instead of doing like a flying effect to move out go out the window, they just swan dive through it.
yes, yes,
It looks
amazing.
really silly.
It looks really. I mean, the whole of the flying sequences in this whole
Yeah.
section are bad, just bad. They're clearly
Yeah.
actors hanging on ropes, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of that bad. Um, but it was kind of fun. The concept was fun. Execution of the concept not so good, right? They're basically fighting in the street, throwing each other into buildings and punching each other out. This, that, and the other.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I quite enjoyed it. What did you think?
Yeah. Like,
I
it
think
was a fun little fight.
the best stuff is either when Superman and Jor-El's talking, or when Zod's doing anything, you know,
Yeah.
other than
Zod
fighting.
being left to do his thing is very fun to watch.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of cool. So the battle goes on, but then Zod's like, he's got a weakness. He cares about these things, and Ursa's
yeah.
like pets, and he's like, "I guess." He's
Mm.
he's not emotional about it. He's just he doesn't quite understand it and doesn't really care because it's not about him, I guess.
Mm.
And he's like, "Okay, we do see Superman get thrown basically through the torture of the Statue of Liberty, don't we?" Uh,
Yeah.
at one point. So yeah, it's New York, right? And then
Yeah.
he gets thrown at, I think it's the Empire State Building, and a big radio tower falls off of it, or some tall
Yeah, that's where it really tweaks for Zod because he catches it before it hits the ground, and
ground.
then
And
lifts it
so
back up and puts it on Non to
yeah,
pin
puts
him.
it on non, which appears to pin him down, but that's kind of ridiculous. So and he's
Yeah,
like, but then non and Ursa are on the ground level, and they pick up a
yeah,
bus full of people, and Superman's like, "No,
yeah,
no, don't throw it." And they're like, so they, and Zod's like, he's flying. Well, I call it flying. He's hanging from a rope somewhere,
yeah,
and says, "Throw it!" And they throw it, and it appears to slide along the floor and crush Superman into a wall. Um, and then the people start slowly getting out, and they
yeah.
start saying, "He's dead. They've killed Superman," and all this.
Yeah,
Um,
this was almost as flip-floppy as the civilians in Spider-Man movies,
yeah,
where they like jump between like, oh no, he's dead, oh he's dead, oh he's the worst person ever, oh this sucks,
yeah.
he's
There's all that.
stupid.
Yeah. But it was reminiscent of that scene in Spider-Man where or Spider-Man 2, sorry, Spider-Man
Yeah,
2, where they
with the
realize
train,
he's
yeah,
just a kid and they try and defend it. And also in Spider-Man
yeah.
1, where they start saying, "You mess with it, Spider-Man, you're
You
messing with
mess with
New
one of us,
York."
you mess with all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all that. Um, So yeah, there's some of that, and Zod just looks perplexed at all these
Yeah.
people, and he
And they're like, okay, and then they just blow them away,
blow them
literally.
away. They just start blowing. Even Non has to go. Um,
Yeah.
but then Superman crawls out the wreckage, kind of looks around what's going on, and flies off.
Yeah.
And all the people are like, Superman's left and he sucks. And the
Yeah.
kids are going, oh, that was poor. And I do like there's one character, one guy who, when it starts kicking off, he goes, oh, this is going to be worth watching, like a cabbie. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to be good. um, and they're like, Superman wouldn't leave us and all this. Anyway, they go back to the Metropolis, sorry, the Daily Planet offices and saying, he was a coward and all this. And
Mm.
again, they're about to kill everyone. And Lex is like, I can give you Superman's address.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, all right. And then we see Lex being carried by Ursa and Lois being carried by Non and nearly falling off quite a bit and all that.
Yeah.
As they're flying, oh god, it looks bad again towards the North Pole. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, they're heading to the Fortress of Solitude. So when they get there, old it turns out basically Superman's there, and they're sort of saying we can tear you apart, and Lex is going, yeah, grab a
Yeah.
leg and pull, and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. And yeah, so basically
Yeah.
they're gonna kill um, Lex yet again.
Yeah. They're like, okay, just kill Lex and we can get on with this,
Yeah,
getting
and Lex
Superman
is like,
served
and
to
he
us.
goes and he throws him at Superman, and Superman says, "Lex, get them in the chamber. We can
Yeah.
take away their powers." And he immediately grasses him up and sort of
Yeah. He
tells
turns
him,
around and it's just like, he's got this shaver that takes away powers. You should put him in it. And
and
he's,
and and Zod's like, Lex, ruler of Australia, what can
yeah.
I give you for this? And he goes, little bauble like Cuba.
Yeah.
Like, what? But we know Zod will immediately kill him.
Yeah.
We all know that. But Lex, who is
Oh, and the
supposed to be
entire time
smart,
Lex has been doing his the greatest criminal mind
yeah,
sort of
yeah, just
thing.
annoying the shit out of them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah? And basically, they by threatening Lois, our nurse has got Lois by the throat. It has to be
Yeah.
said. And they keep threatening to kill her all the time. And he says, submit to. Basically, Zod's like, submit to me. You will be my slave. And if you don't, start killing the inhabitants of this planet, a million at a time if we have to. But we're starting
Mm.
with her. And he's like, okay, I will submit. And
Yeah, that's
basically,
what you get that kneel.
Neil,
So
Neil. And he goes in the chamber, and the red stuff happens, and they're all watching.
yeah.
And he comes out, and he's like, Neil. And again, Superman kneels.
Just,
But then when he grabs
take
his
my
hand,
hand.
yep, he basically crushes his hand, and Zod's
Yeah.
like, oh,
And Zod makes the funniest noise.
and pulls a
It's like,
proper gurney face. Yeah,
oh!
yeah. And basically, Superman picks him up and by one arm again looked a bit goofy because they did it with ropes and things or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just wires.
and he throws him against the wall, and he immediately falls into a massive the
He
chasm,
falls into a smoky pit.
smoky
And then
pit.
and then Non tries to fly at him and falls into a smoky
That
pit.
always made me laugh, that bit in the
Yeah.
original too, when Non just doesn't realise and just throws himself into a pit, basically. Then
Yeah.
Lois basically makes Ursa let her
Yeah.
go and chins her, which she did in the
Yeah, just knocks her out, says you've been a pain in the neck because she's been choking her the entire time.
so
That's the hell
she
out.
falls into the smoky pit, and that's the last. So
Yeah.
Superman killed two of them.
Yeah.
Lois killed the
Lois got a
third.
kill on a
Not a
Kryptonian.
word about any of
Yeah.
that. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be maybe more weight to him killing the other two members of the only
Yeah,
few members of his species,
yeah.
but
But
nah,
nah,
I
it's
guess
all
not.
right. And we complained about the what's it ones.
Man of Steel.
It did it in this, just did it.
Yeah,
And Lex immediately, like, oh yeah, I knew what you were trying to get. I saw the plan immediately, and I led
yeah.
them. And Superman's like,
So
yeah, all right,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. Um, and it appears at that point, it's just poor editing or something. Oh, they didn't have the right scenes.
Yeah,
It appears at that point, Lois and Superman fly away from the Fortress of Solitude, and
and
then
leave
Superman
Lex.
leave Lex there, and then eye lasers it to exploding. Uh, so Now
Yeah.
we know it can't be that, all right?
No,
But
because he's in
it's
later
pretty
films.
bad.
So
um, yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, and I can't remember if that happens in the original one. I just can't
I
remember.
don't think it does.
No, I
Like,
don't think he destroys the tower.
yeah,
I
that's what
think
I'm
I
saying. I
remember
don't.
him dropping him back at the prison. To be honest, a
Yeah,
bit like in the first one, but they didn't include that, and that was a
yeah,
big mistake. That was just it. Just looked bad,
yeah,
man. Um,
yeah. One
so
thing I
then,
did miss, this is a weird thing to miss from the fight, but there's just a bit in the original cut where Superman pulls the S off of his chest during the fight with Zod and throws it at Zod, and it just wraps him up. Zod falls to the ground, and then it disappears.
how weird.
It's just a weird, like he just pulls the S off. It becomes cellophane, wraps up Zod. That's it. Just for a moment, I was just remembered that as like a weird thing that happens in this movie. Then
Yeah,
it didn't happen. So
yeah. There's two odd superpowers in this movie, right? Which is Zod
yeah,
being able to talk all languages, right?
mm,
And the bit that isn't in this cut, but is in the
yeah.
original, where he
The
kisses
mind
Lois,
wiping kiss.
yeah, and
Yeah,
wipes her memory of stuff. Right? That was
yeah,
just odd. That was just odd. Didn't really work. Um,
yeah,
so in this one, he takes Lois back to her penthouse, and she's saying, I won't reveal your secret." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And then
yeah,
basically, through editing, they make it appear like Superman's doing the old spin around the world, make time go
yeah,
backwards to set it before the bad guys even turn up.
yeah.
Did I miss something? But they didn't actually do
I think
anything
he
different.
diverts the rocket.
Oh, I missed that
So there,
because I didn't.
which now just means they're still out there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're gonna they're gonna find out about him.
At some point. Anyway,
Like,
so that means Lois has got nothing to forget this time because she
yeah,
never lived through that thing. Though she
yeah.
kind of has some
Everyone
sort of
has a
weird
weird
future memory
like
of it.
deja vu of it.
Yeah,
Like
it's a bit like
They show Perry White's like about to brush his teeth as the switchback happens, and he's
yeah,
like, while they're in the office, he's like, hmm. He's just constantly like
yeah,
looking around, like he feels like he should be tasting something. So
yeah. And Lois is like, Clark, do you ever feel like I feel like I've got the greatest story ever? And I can't remember what it is. And he's like, "Oh, I bet it's about Superman, right? How he saves the planet or the universe or something." She's
hmm.
going, "You don't understand. Go get me a pizza." It's kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's different. The original cut, he kisses her to wipe her memory, but all the stuff
yeah,
happens, right? And happened. But in this version, it never happened.
mm,
So yeah, weird. I feel like the original is a better. Sorry, the
yeah,
cinema version is a better end in that respect. Um,
yeah,
this just felt goofy, and they're just redoing the end of one. Then, right? Is
mm,
it going to keep doing this just for the
yeah.
same time? And doesn't that fracture time in the end? Anyway,
Yeah, that'll break
yeah,
something
yeah.
down.
Um, and then we get the final scene, which was in the original of him going back to the diner where the bloke beat him up and
Yeah,
beating the
just
shit out
beating
of this
this.
bloke, basically.
Except now the guy didn't beat him up because he's turned back time, so he's just gone and beat up some
I
random
never like
person.
that. He's just beat
So
up a bloke, and yeah, and then says I've been working out.
he just keeps going like, "Oh, you remember me," and he keeps like making illusions like he's come back to but no, this is a different timeline
This is an
now.
earlier
So you
timeline.
just beat up
He just
someone
beat up a
completely
guy. Yeah.
different.
Oh god. Yeah. So and then it ends. So yeah, an interesting version. Now I asked you at the beginning which one you preferred, and you specifically said I prefer in this cut these scenes, but you didn't actually say
Yeah,
which version you prefer.
I prefer overall this one.
Overall, because of the Marlon
Yeah.
Brando stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really
But
good.
that's
It was
yeah.
really good.
There's bits I miss from the original. So
I feel like the effects were better in the original, but they're mostly the same. So maybe I'm just, it was a time we
yeah,
hadn't seen all the great special effects we see now, from the 2000s onwards, really.
yeah,
From probably Lord of the Rings onwards, right? Or maybe some of the Star
yeah,
Wars prequel stuff. We're used to that, and this just looks bad. Um, and that might be why the first one has aged a bit better because it has less action, and therefore
yeah.
less terrible effects to spot.
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
So,
It'd be interesting to watch three actually. and I
Mm.
kind of want to watch four, even though it is objectively a bad film. But it has got some weird connectivity with this 2025 Superman, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting in that respect. Um, but yeah, I have to say, you like two the best out of all the films. I'd
Mm.
put it third. I like Superman the movie, and
Really?
then
Oh,
Superman
you like
3.
Super 3, yeah.
I like Superman 3 better than Superman 2. Yeah, I do. I
Ooh.
know that's an unusual thing, and the majority of people either think Superman or Superman 2. And there's a significant number, like yourself, that think
I
Superman
think
2's the
Superman 2's,
best.
yeah.
Yeah, but I put 3 above it. Sorry, I just like it. I just think it's a fun film, and I like the elements where he's fighting himself. I think that was a really interesting
Yeah,
to
that's
tell.
the really cool sequence in
But
there.
it's quite short, I suppose,
Yeah.
compared to the rest of it. But I like him,
Yeah.
doing things like flicking peanuts at the bar and smashing the bar up, and no one
Yeah.
can do anything because it's Superman. Things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, but
I see
yeah.
you like the bit with the evil Kryptonian. Yeah.
Well, that bit made me laugh.
Yeah.
And then and doesn't he Pamela Stevens is in it. And he has a thing with her, doesn't he, as well? And
Yeah.
like
I think is
the
she
evil
Lana
version.
Lane?
No, she's
Yeah.
not Lana Lane. She's the girlfriend
Lana
of
Lane,
the
yeah.
guy that tries to kill Superman. Lana Lang's in it, and she's really good. That's Annette
Yeah.
O'Toole. So there's some good stuff in Free. I know it's
Yeah.
kind of goofy. The Richard Pryor stuff unbalances it all, but I like it. If
Isn't
you
Margot
don't,
Kidder like only in the end?
she's in it really briefly. Yeah,
Yeah.
super brief. He's much more a relationship with Lana Lang developing in
Yeah.
in in Free. Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking about Free now. Let's go back to. Okay, shall we rate this? What would you rate this?
Yeah. I would rate this an easy 8.
Yeah, I'll give it A. Even though it sounds like I'm a bit cool on it, I still really like it. Christopher Reeve delivers. He's really good as Clark Kent and Superman. Um, and the
Mm.
stuff with him and Marlon Brando, and you got to remember he's acting against Marlon Brando's floating giant head, right? So
Yeah.
Marlon Brando is not
Well,
in the
they
room with
they
him.
do one bit where he is in
Yeah,
the room with
you
him,
are right.
and that's the
Oh,
best bit.
yeah,
Where it's just like I give everything for you. I gave
yeah,
everything for you once. I will do it again in a
yeah.
heartbeat.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that is. I mean, there's some good stuff. There is that really elevates this film.
mm,
Though I do like the original. I think I slightly prefer the original cut as a movie,
mm,
but I think you made the like you said at the beginning. The Marlon Brando and Christopher Reeve stuff really elevates the
mm,
material. It's really good. It's really solid, actually. Uh,
yeah,
and if Mario Puzo wrote all that, credit to him. I
yeah,
have kind of slagged him off about his screenwriting abilities,
yeah,
but that was very effective. The whole scene was very effective and touching, very touching. So yeah, really solid. So I again, like you, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 for me. This,
mm,
uh, but even though I think it's the third best in the original Christopher Reeve set, but yeah, we'll have
mm,
to do 3 sometime. But yeah, the
yeah.
reason we're doing
Should
this
we,
is
should we
Terence
at some
Stamp,
point
right?
just do a roll on of like 3, then 4, then returns?
Yeah, at some point. But really, it's Terence Stamp's finest hour. He
Yeah,
has doesn't deliver many lines, but he's so good,
yeah.
so good.
Every line he delivers is a lot of weight to
And
it.
the thing is, it's not like Ursa is pantomime.
Yeah,
Zod's not. He's kind of not bothered. He's
yeah,
really not bothered. He's like more like, oh, I hope I get a challenge soon.
yeah.
Uh,
I've been trying to find it like in the background this entire time, but there is a clip of Terence Stamp being interviewed about Superman 2.
yeah,
And apparently, like Jack O'Halloran, who plays Non, was like he was either being a bit of a diva or just kind of being a nuisance
yeah,
in some capacity, not in a malicious way,
yeah.
but and he was just like it's still in his like trailer. So after makeup, Terence Stamp went over to a trailer, kicked the door, and went, "Jack, you bastards, get out and do the film."
And Jack Halloran's not a little guy.
No,
He's
Jack
what, six
O'Halloran's
foot
got
eight
about a
or something.
foot on Terence Stamp,
Yeah.
and apparently
Um,
he'd like bolted up and just followed after him.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's Zod, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Um, just a reference to the other Zod, Michael Shannon Zod, which I thought Michael Shannon was really good in a poor film. I liked his Zod,
Yeah,
but I preferred Terence Stamp Zod.
yeah.
But I thought Michael Shannon did some good stuff in a relatively poor film. So
Yeah.
yeah, the others I don't remember at all. The other characters in that version I do. So the Ursa,
There was
Sarah
a
Douglas, a
there
great
was a
Ursa.
yeah, she's Farah because in the character of Ursa is called Farah in the comics. So
Okay,
that in Man of Steel it's Farah, but
okay,
they are playing it as the trio
yeah,
of Zod, Ursa, and Non because they
okay,
also have a giant guy that just fights Superman and they never give him a name and he
yeah.
never actually takes his helmet off, so it's just a big guy with muscles.
Big guy.
So
Yeah, no. So Sarah Douglas is also pretty great as Ursa in this.
yes,
Has to be said. And Nod's good. You know, he's memorable.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's really Zod's film. This, I think,
yeah.
in many respects. Though this version is also Jor-El's film. I'd say
Hmm.
Marlon Brando really.
Yeah.
He's so much. He has so much. I don't know. He was good in the first one, but he's so much better in this one. What he
Yeah. And
is,
in the first one, it was like, it was good acting, but it was not
it was.
acting for the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it's just a broadly good performance and not specifically about what's going on in
yeah.
this because it's a lot of like very distant sort of like I'm Jor-El, you will be their savior sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, given it was a giant floating head, his only way he can act
Yes.
through that is his voice modulation
Yeah.
and his
Oh
face.
no, I mean like even at the in the intro bits where he's like
Yeah,
squaring off with Zod and
yeah, yeah,
whatnot. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's not really doing much that
No,
distinguishes him as this character.
no, but this is
So,
father to son stuff that's
mm,
quite affecting, right?
yeah,
So it works really well. Anyway, okay, so Rip Terence Stamp, we
yeah,
loved you in this. We loved you.
mm,
Okay, we'll be back to our
yeah.
more
Maybe we
regular
should watch
schedule.
Priscilla Queen of the Desert next. So,
Uh, okay.
yeah,
So anyway, so that's it. Bye from me.
bye.